It's only been months ever since the Xbox Series X was released. A cool and powerful piece of machinery, and there's no doubt about that. Unless you're a PlayStation fan, in which case get ready to be proven wrong. However, a strong console can only get better with the library of games that accompany it. The Series X will have a couple of exclusive and third-party games as the coming months roll around the corner. The good thing is that there are a couple of existing games that will play well on the Series X that you might want to check out. This is the Game Mag's Top 5 Xbox Series X games to play in 2021. Number 5. The Medium. Starting off our list is a game that actually came out in January of this year, which is The Medium. This game isn't based on any sequel or existing media. While it may not be original when it comes to the concept, it is an interesting one to take a look at and add to your Series X collection. The Medium is labeled as a psychological horror game, which is a very rare genre but executed well in this game. Players take control of Marianne, who is a medium who is capable of walking through the spirit world and communing with the souls of the dead. The gameplay is a third-person exploration, with puzzle solving and psychological brain twisters. This isn't a very fast-paced and in-your-face game, but that's the beauty of it. The Series X elevates the atmosphere of the game, which is one of its strong points. It doesn't rely on cheap jump scares, like some other games do, to frighten players. The visual presentation and power of the Series X really show in this game whenever Marianne shifts from the real world to the spirit world. It holds an interesting story and maybe not one for those that are a bit weak in the chest. It's not a gory game, but if you're planning on playing it at night with those visuals, be prepared to not sleep for an entire week. Definitely an interesting game, and hopefully more games follow its approach on presenting horror in a very psychological way, tormenting players but letting them keep coming back for more. Number 4. Hitman 3. You wouldn't even think that the Hitman series has been over 20 years old now. A title like Hitman 3 would probably have players think that it was fairly new. That's not the case, because the very first Hitman game came out around the year 2000. They have a weird way of numbering and putting titles on their games, and they couldn't, for whatever reason, just label them as Hitman 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on because mommy said they were special. Then again, that's the beauty of the Hitman games, because you don't need to play the previous one to learn about the plot. The plot is pretty much self-explanatory, where you have Agent 47, an assassin genetically bred to do hits, missions, and don't forget about getting sidetracked doing miscellaneous things. Hitman 3 keeps all the original elements of the games, which is why it works. Why fix something that isn't broken? And after it launched just January of this year, it has been receiving praises and high reviews from a lot of people. The graphics of the game are a perfect playground for the Series X to work with. It has a touch of realism, and the capabilities of the Series X allows the game to shine on all corners. Get this game today and have control of Agent 47 back on your fingertips. Do the missions or do whatever you want, and you don't have to progress the story right away if you're having too much fun with it. Number 3. Control Ultimate Edition. Number 3 on this list is Control Ultimate Edition. This is a game you probably didn't expect since the game came out back in 2019. However, this is the Ultimate Edition, which was released back in August of 2020, just months before the Series X came out. You're getting more than what you bargained for compared to other games that have a hefty price that aren't even complete. This edition comes with the main game and 2 DLCs, which give you every bang for your buck. Control is a third-person shooter game where you play as Jessie Faden, the newest director of the FBC. Her first day in her new position throws her and the player into a tailspin as you have to uncover the paranatural activities that are happening in the game. A good reason to buy this game is that the visuals have been updated to cater to 4K gaming, as the Series X is capable of doing. The game's visuals alone are worth the price of admission, with those amazing particle effects all happening on 4K. Control is a suitable single-player game with an interesting story and engaging gameplay mechanics. Most gamers say that they are like watching and playing a movie with the visuals and the story. If nothing else, this game had numerous awards around the time that it came out and would be a great addition to your Series X library. Number 2. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. The Assassin's Creed series needs no introduction, since it's been around for over a decade and has released multiple games under its name. Regardless of the hiccups some of the games have had, and don't forget about the live-action movie that was underwhelming and totally forgettable, this franchise is still going strong. That's where Assassin's Creed Valhalla comes into the picture, or to be more specific, comes into your Series X. A Viking is probably not something you would think of first when you hear the word assassin, since they're usually loud, brutish, and lack subtlety, but this game made it possible. Much like all the AC games, Valhalla puts you in the character of Eivor, a Viking raider who, along with his brethren, are out to do some Viking stuff. You know, the usual adventure, boat riding and pillaging. The open-world mechanics of this game are visually stunning due to the Series X's capabilities. You'll see areas with great textures and landscapes that will leave you breathless. Let's not forget about the actual gameplay, which the AC games have stuck with and are always executed with care and attention. It is a third-person action game allowing you to sneak around or just go in and try to obliterate everything in sight. Play the main missions or do some side quests like what most people would do. This allows you to improve Eivor's gear and unlock more of the story, and they will go all out with the story on this one. Finally, the customization on this game is astounding, because you can make Eivor male or female, thus giving that title of being a sexy beast going both ways. Number 1. Outriders. The final game on our list is Outriders, which is a game that just came out. Before anything else, we have to address the issue that the game had upon launch, and that is the constant server problems. The game wouldn't let players come in, players were getting kicked out of rooms, and the usual disconnection problems. The developers have made an effort to fix these problems and everything has gotten better, but Outriders on its own is a great game once the server issues have been fixed. You play as an Outrider, the last hope for humankind. That sounds a bit too dramatic, but it's set in the future with the usual mankind is on the brink of extinction with elements of science fiction. Create your own Outrider based on 4 different classes, and the game sets you off to start on your adventure. The story is okay because it is your typical tale befitting a third-person shooter RPG. The gameplay is where it is really at, because it's fast-paced and you'll feel your adrenaline going up your head. While you can play Outriders on your own, which some consider a bad idea, it is always so much better to play it with different people online. What better way to play the game than with people that you actually know? If you like to live dangerously, then try to play with people that you don't know and watch the fireworks happen, and we mean that in a bad or hilarious way. When you play it on the Series X, the visuals will be stunning, fluent, and top-notch. Outriders let you sink in hours of fun and gameplay until the next game you decide to play it again. It isn't your run-of-the-mill shooter because it has a lot going for it, especially when played on the Series X. Well, there you have it, just 5 of some of the great games out there that you can get today for your Xbox Series X. Did any of the games that you have in mind make it on the list? Give us your thoughts and opinions and what games you would have wanted to be here. Just as always, hit the subscribe button and click on the bell for more notifications for more of the Game Mag's content.